Good evening, everyone. So welcome to Career Launcher. My name is Naveen, and today we'll continue with our series CSAT PYQs. And very much like the previous sessions, we will be doing CSAT QA 2024 questions. And this is part 4 of the series. So without wasting any time, let's jump over to the questions. The very first question is a DS question. So a question is given followed by two statements, 1 and 2. Consider the question and the statements. Question says, what are the unique values of x and y, where x and y are distinct natural numbers? If I read the question, I can think of infinite possibilities, right? First statement says x by y is odd. If x by y is odd, then x is going to be 2 times of y divided by y. No, this will give us even. So that would mean this has to be odd times of y divided by y, so that y cancels out and we get odd. So here x is going to be 1 times of y, 3 times of y, 5 times of y. So what is the value of x? No idea. What is the value of y? बिल्कुल नहीं पता. So using first statement, obviously we cannot answer this. Now, second statement, x into y is equal to 12. If x into y is equal to 12, the possibilities are 1, 12, 2, 6, 3, 4, 4, 3, 6, 2, 12, 1. Right? These are the 6 possibilities. Which one is x? Which one is y? No idea. Right? So which means now we will have to go ahead and club, which also means that option A and B, none of these two options can be the answer. Now, since we need odd, so we are thinking of x has to be odd times of y. Right? So is there a possibility? Yes. So if x is going to be 3 times of 2 and y is going to be 2, so 2 gets cancelled out, we get 3, which is odd. So basically x is going to be 6 and y is going to be 2. If we try to take any other scenario, we won't be getting x by y as odd. So the question can be answered using both the statements together and not individually. So C option is our answer. Okay, another DS. A question is followed by two statements, 1 and 2. Consider the questions and statements. A certain amount was distributed among X, Y, and Z. Who received the least amount? First statement says X received 4/5 of what Y and Z together received. So basically X received 4/5 of what Y and Z together received. Question asked is who received the least amount? So from here we can assume that X receives 4 and Y plus Z receives 5. Then only X will receive 4/5 of what Y plus Z receives. Now from here, we can guarantee that x is not the smallest because y plus z, they need to be, their sum needs to be 5. So at least one of the values has to be less than 4, isn't it? Both values cannot be 4. Then the sum won't be 5. So who received the least amount? Is it y, 1, 1, 2, or 3, or is it z? We do not know. So we can't answer using the first statement. Second statement. Y received 2/7 of what X and Z received together. From here, we can see that X gets 2 and, sorry, not X, Y gets 2 and X plus Z, they get a 7, right? This is how we deal with fractions. So y gets 2, x plus z gets 7, means one of x or z will get 1. The other y or z sorry, 1 among X or Z, it's going to be 2. The other one is going to be 5. It could be 3 or 4. So a lot of possibilities, right? So which one is this smallest from here? Do not know. 1 among X or Z can be 1 as well, right? So we can't answer using the second statement as well. So we'll have to go ahead and club. Right now, if we look at the sum of X plus Y plus Z from both the cases, it's 9. So 9 may say X gets a 4, Y gets a 2, so Z should get the remaining 3. So who gets the smallest? Y. So clubbing both the statements, we are able to answer this. So the answer is going to be option C. Right? Had the sum been not same, we would have taken its multiple. No problem. Another data sufficiency question. If the average marks in a class are 60, then what is the number of students in the class? We need average of boys or girls or maybe some other relationship, right? First statement says the highest marks in the class are 70 and the lowest marks are 50. So how many students are we going to have? We won't know, right? Because the highest is 70, the lowest is 50. Let's say there are only 2 kids. So average जो हो जाएगा 60 होगा 50 plus 70 by 2. Or we may have 3 kids also. 50 plus 60 plus 70 is 180. 180 by 3 is 60. I can have 5 people as well. I can have 6 people also. Every time the average is 60. So how many students are there in the class? We have no idea about it, right? And it's not all just 50 and 70. We could have 51 and 69 as well. We can have 55 and 65 also possible. So using first statement, we won't be able to answer. Let's look at the second statement. Exclusion of highest and lowest marks from the class does not change the average. Still, we do not know. We can have 10 people with 60 marks, or we can have something like this, 50 and 70. So if I exclude the lowest and the highest, the average is still 60. But is it 160? Is it 360? Is it 260? We have no idea. So we do not know how many students are there in the class yet. Abhi tak nahi pata hame. Right? So even if we club them, as you can see, right, we won't be able to answer the question. So the question cannot be answered using both these statements even together. Right? So option D. Another data sufficiency question. There are 3 distinct prime numbers whose sum is a prime number. If we have 3 prime numbers whose sum is a prime number and these prime numbers are different, well, all prime numbers are odd. If I take a 2 here and then odd and odd, it will give us an even number, and no prime number is even except 2. So we cannot have 2. All the 3 prime numbers here are going to be more than 2 basically. That's only the way, right? First statement says their sum is less than 23. So can we write 19 as sum of 3 prime numbers? Because the sum is a prime number and it is less than 23. Less than 23 means 19 is the only prime number, right? As of now. 17 will come, then 13 will come. वो बात की बात. So if I take the prime number smallest, that's going to be 3, and then 5, and then 11. Yes, very much possible. What if we take 3 and a 7 and a 9? What if we take 3 and an 11? That is 14 plus 5. So no matter what I do, I will always get 3, 11, and 5 because it's going to be 19. Now, what if we take 17? If we take 17, the smallest prime number we can take is 3 because 2 is not permitted. Then we will have 5 and then we will have 9. No. If we take a 7, then the other will also become a 7. 7, 7, 14 plus 3. But we are told those are different. So in the case of 17, we will not get any possibility. Okay. Next is 3 plus 5 plus 7. That's the next possibility, which is 15. But then 15 is not prime. So using statement 1, we are able to answer. Those three numbers which are prime, such that their sum is prime, are 3, 5, and 11. The moment I'm able to answer it using one of the statements alone, C and D cannot be answered. Okay. Next, one of the numbers is 5. If one of the numbers is 5 and three distinct numbers whose sum is a prime number, so 5 is one number, then we can have a 3 plus 5, and then we can have an 11, which is going to be 19. The other possibility we can have is, see, I'm not clubbing, I'm only looking at the second statement. 3 plus 5, 8. 8 plus 21 is 29. This is also possible. So just because I know that one of the numbers is 5, I may not know what are those three prime numbers. 21 is not a prime number, I'm sorry. Can we take a 13? 13 plus 8 is 21. Can we take a 17? 17 plus 8 is 25. Can we take a 19? We have already taken. No, 19 we haven't taken. 19 plus 8 is 27. Not possible. Next is 23. 23 plus 8 is 31. So, ye to ho sakta hai. 31 is a prime number. 23 is a prime number. So using statement 2 alone, we won't be able to answer it. So which has to be option A now. We can answer this question using only one of the statements, which is statement 1. Okay, next one. Another DS. Is x plus y an integer? Well, it depends on x and y. First statement says 2x plus y is an integer. It may be 2 times 1 by 2 plus 3 over 1, such that it becomes an integer, but then x is not an integer, y is an integer. Is x plus y an integer? No. Right? It's no aa jayega. What if we take 2 into 1 plus 3, which is going to give us a 5? So it is an integer. X is 1, y is 3. So x plus y will be 4. So is it an integer? Yes. Yeah, koi ek answer aana chahiye na. Either it has to be yes or it has to be no. Since we cannot figure it out, so this. Next statement. Same logic, x plus 2y is an integer. So we are saying it could be 3 plus 2 times half, which gives us a 4, which is an integer. But then, is x plus y an integer? No. Next one. We can write this as 3 plus 2 times of 1, which gives us an integer. But is x an integer and y an integer? Yes. So unka sum bhi integer. So still confused, we won't be able to answer it using either of the statements alone as well. So option A or B to nahi ho. Now if we club them, we have to see that 2x plus y is also an integer and x plus 2y is also an integer. Well, this is only going to be possible if x, y, each one of them is an integer. If each one of them is an integer, so x plus y is going to be an integer. So we can answer it after clubbing both the statements together. So if I take x as a fraction, then this is going to give us as integer. But then if x is a fraction, then x plus 2y won't be an integer anymore. So we have to think of such set of values of x and y where each of the two statements result in integer. Right? This is only possible when x and y are integer. Hence, this conclusion. Another DS. A person buys 3 articles, P, Q, and R for rupees 50. The price of the article Q is rupees 16, which is the least. Okay. So we have got P, Q, R. The total amount spent is 50. Q ka lowest is 16. So out of 50, if we remove 16, we are left with 34. And if 34 needs to be divided into two parts, such that 16 is the smallest, we can only have the possibility 17 and 17. If we try to increase the value of P, the value of R will decrease and Q will not be any longer the least price. So what is the price of the article P? It's going to be 17 from here. But it is never mentioned that they need to be natural numbers. So ये एक possibility है. The other possibility is 17.5 and 16.5 and a 16, right? Or we may have 16.5, 16 and 17.5. They all result in 50. So basically P can be greater than Q and P can be greater than R, or maybe R is the highest bit number. Right? So using the first statement, the cost of P is not more than R. So it is greater or it may be equal. Still not sure. We won't be able to answer this. Second statement, the cost of R is not more than that of P. So either it is equal or it is less. So we won't be able to answer it using second statement. If we club them, we are saying the cost of P should not be more than R and the cost of R should not be more than P. That means they need to be same. So when we club them, this is the unique scenario that we're talking about. So we would know the price of article P. It's going to be 17 now. Okay. So we can answer this question after combining both the statements together. Okay, another DS. Then PQ, R, and S appeared in a test. Has P scored more marks than Q? No idea. First statement says the sum of marks obtained by P and Q is equal to sum of the marks obtained by R and S. So is P greater than Q? Who knows? Maybe, may not be. So using first statement, we have no idea. Let's forget about the first statement and let's look at the second statement. The sum of marks scored by P and S is more than the sum of the marks scored by Q and R. So is P going to score more than Q? Still do not know. Maybe P is smaller than Q and S is larger than R. So second statement से भी हमारा आंसर नहीं आया. Now, if we club them, so basically we won't be answering it using option C and D. If we club them, so what we can see from here is we need to find relationship between P and Q, right? So what I'm going to do is I am going to add Q here. So we know that P plus Q is nothing but R plus S, which is greater than 2Q plus R. So we get that S is greater than 2Q. So is S less than 2Q? Sorry, is S greater than Q still? No idea. So if I start doing the inequality, what happens is it gets difficult and time consuming. We have to then think what are the different possibilities, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to assume values such that both the things make sense. So when instead of Q, when I add S, what we see is its value increases, right? So P is, let's say 1, Q is, let's say 4, R is, let's say 2, S is, let's say 3, 5 plus 5, right? Or we can have 4 plus 1 and 2 plus 3. So R and S will take from 2 or 3 and 1 P and Q, let's say it takes from 1 and 4. इनमें से कौन सा satisfy करता है? If P is 1 and S is 2 or 3, Q is 4, R is 3 or 2, none of them will make sense. So that means we are not talking about this scenario. Second, if P is going to be 4 and Q is going to be 1, now we can have a lot of possibilities. I can write 2 here, 3 goes here, or if I write 3 here, 2 goes here. So is P greater than Q? We realize that yes, it is. Right? So when we club them, we are able to answer it. So the correct option is going to be C. Next, DS. Age of each of P and Q is less than 100 years, but more than 10 years. So P and Q, it has to be more than 10, but less than 100. If you interchange the digits of the age P, age of P, so basically we are talking about age of P and Q being a 2-digit number. The number represents the age of Q. So I'm saying if P looks like AB, then Q will look like BA. What is the difference in their ages? So AB is nothing but 10 times A plus B, and BA is nothing but 10 times B plus A. Right? So what we see here is what is the difference between their ages? So let's say P is going to be elder. So P minus Q, it's going to give us 9 times A minus B. What is A? What is P? We have no idea. So we won't be able to answer this. Right? Now, the age of P is greater than the age of Q. We did just that. So still we do not get an answer. Second statement, the sum of their ages is 11 by 6 times. So basically P plus Q is 11 by 6 times the difference of their ages. Right? So we can write 6P plus 6Q is equal to 11P minus 11Q. If we rearrange, we will be getting 17P is equal to, 17Q is equal to 5P. So P and Q, they are supposed to be 2-digit number. So that means P is going to be a multiple of 7, while Q is simultaneously going to be a multiple of 5. So the minimum value of K that we can put is 3. So this is going to be 51 and 15. If I take the value of K as 4, so it will be 20 and 0, 2, not possible. If I take Q is equal to 5, so it's going to be 25 and 52. Question asked is, what is the difference between their ages? Well, 51 minus 15 and 52 minus 25, they are going to give us very different answers, right? So, won't be able to answer it. When we club them, right? So, this was second statement. If I club them, so what we will see is P plus Q. P plus Q would become 11 times A plus B. And 9 times, let's write it like this. P minus Q is 9 times A minus B. And P plus Q is going to be 11 times A plus B. Now, as per the question, and since P is greater than Q, that's why I'm writing P first here. The sum of their ages, that is 11 times A plus B, is 11 by 6 times their difference, which is 9 times of A minus B. So what we say is 11 gets cancelled out, right? And from 6 and 9, 3 is common, so this is what we get. If we cross multiply, we get 2 times A plus 2 times B is equal to 3 times A minus 3 times B. So from here, we will get A is equal to 5B, which means A is going to be 5 and B is going to be 1. The next possible value of A is going to be 10, a multiple of 5. So it's not going to happen. So the 2-digit number that we had chosen was 10A plus B, which is going to be 10 into 5 plus 1, which is 51. So 51 is the only value such that its reverse is 15. And if I add them, it is going to be 11 by 6 times the difference. So basically, individually, we were not able to solve it. Using option C, we were able to solve it. Right. Well, that's all for today. I hope you were able to follow how to solve DS questions. Some of the DS questions, they are tricky. And while solving, you have to consider all the possibilities. So feel free to ask me any question regarding your preparation, syllabus, where to study, how to improve your score, your marks, everything, anything. Type in your question in the comment section. Okay. I'll see you guys again very soon with another session of CSAT previous year question series. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, like the video, and share it with your friends. Until next session, take care. Bye-bye.